Hi, everybody. My name is Eamon O'Brien, and welcome to today's podcast with Pat Monk. Here today, I have Gary. Gary is coming from LEADx. So, Gary, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Eamon. Great to be here.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, just before we jump into things, I mean, if you want to maybe give me a quick introduction, what LEADx is all about, what's been up, what's happening in your part of the world.
Yeah, great. So LEADx, so what we do is we're a leadership development platform that's really centered around behavior change. And in short, we really help managers and leaders become better managers and leaders through a nudge platform that we use and through coaching programs. And this is all done through a software tool. And really, like, a starting point is that the first step in being a good leader, being a good manager, is self-awareness. So one of the things we have all of our users and all of our customers do is they go through one of many personality assessments. LEADx is pretty assessment agnostic. So we support 20 assessments at this time. With in the future, we're planning to have an assessment creator tool come out so that even if you don't like our 20, you could always create your own assessment in there. And then once leaders are kind of aware of their personality, they have that fundamental starting point, and then they can choose a coaching plan to help them get better at something. And this is often tied to either a customer or a company's competency model, or through a specific kind of program that they're going through. So a lot of examples we have are people that are going through frontline leader development programs. So these might include topics like self-awareness, effective feedback, one-on-one meetings, to name just a few of them. And then once they're in that coaching plan, they start to get nudges around both their personality. So, hey, maybe some listeners are familiar with Clifton Strengths. So one of my Clifton Strengths is the achiever Clifton Strength. So I might get a nudge saying, hey, Gary, because you're an achiever, one of your strengths in Clifton Strengths is achiever, then remember X, Y, and Z while working today or while managing today. And then I'm also able to get those nudges about my direct reports. So another example there is saying, hey, if I use a different assessment, the DISC assessment, which some people might say, hey, Gary, because your direct report, Anthony, is an ID personality, DISC personality type, remember X, Y, and Z when you're managing him today, or when you're delegating tasks to him at this time. And so as a manager, I can see all of that within the app. And anytime I might have a question, we have a live coach feature in there as well. So say I get that nudge about Anthony and I'm thinking, oh, you know what? I have a question about that. How can I take this to the next level? There's a chat interface within the app that people can go into and ask a real live human coach that question that they have about any leadership or management questions. And this is all kind of paired with a micro learning library of videos, podcasts, webinars, book summaries, audio and written summaries as well. So that's our software offering, is what we do.
Fantastic. And just before we jump here on the podcast, you're telling me about a new exciting update that's coming with the app. Can you maybe share a little bit more so our viewers can see that?
Yeah, we're just getting ready. Hopefully weeks away. By the time people are listening to this might already be out. Is that we're giving a redesign to our front end app interface. So LEADx is a mobile first platform. We have it on the web, but mobile first is our mantra. And people can, once they log in, they'll be able to see a whole brand new app interface in there, making it a lot easier to see your team members, to see which coaching plan your team members are on, to see your team members' personality types, to see your coaching plan and all the other different content we have in there.
Okay, fantastic. And when it comes down to like what you're saying, app first, because everybody's mobile these days. I mean, who are your clients, and typically what kind of industries are they in?
Yeah, so our industries, we kind of have we're really wide in terms of industries. So we go from very regulated industries like pharma to to financial services, and then we also are in the tech space as well. So we're kind of all over all over the place in terms of industry. It's really people that have an interest in leadership. So anyone, any kind of company that realizes, you know what, we really need to develop our managers. We might have a retention problem. We're churning people, we're losing people frequently. They might want to be like, all right, we need to really solve this. Might be a hair on fire issue that they're like, oh man, I really need to figure out how to improve our leadership here or our managers' effectiveness. And it's kind of all across like levels of manager as well. So they could be frontline leaders, they could be middle managers, even executives, really.
Okay, perfect. And I mean, with this, when you're reaching out to these different companies across different niches, I mean, what do you find, like, what is your top way of, acquiring new clients? Is it, online? What are you doing at the moment that's working very well for you?
Yeah, what's working really well. This is I know this sounds weird as a SaaS company, but it's a lot of word of mouth that has really been hitting a lot of traction right now. So we've our not to I run our customer experience team, so not to pat myself on the back here, but it's a lot of our customer service is really phenomenal. I think the team that works under me, they're amazing, and we really have a really great customer experience set out. So a lot of our customers are through recommendations, but a lot of other ways people find us. We do have a pretty powerful LinkedIn presence as well in terms of sharing a lot of interviews. Our CEO, Kevin Cruz, does a ton of interviews with senior leadership development folks. And we publish those, they're free to read on LinkedIn. We publish on Forbes as well. We have our own blog. We share case studies. So our LinkedIn content is pretty strong, and a lot of people find us through that. Or we have a community of practice as well that's turning into one of the largest community of practices out there for anyone that's in the leadership development industry or in the leadership development space.
Fantastic, fantastic. So what I'm hearing here is like word of mouth, amazing customer service, LinkedIn. You have, your own blog. I mean, does your website play much of a role in acquisition at the moment, or is that something that you see going forward?
Yeah, right now our website does. We do have some like lead gen coming in from our website, but hopefully that's something, I can't speak too much to it. Our marketing folks are probably going to be better able to speak to kind of their strategy there. But yeah, right now it's pretty predominantly LinkedIn focused.
Okay. And it's definitely an amazing platform that a lot of people are leveraging. So if there was something right now when it comes to strengths of the company, what LEADx are doing really well, I mean, what would you say that is? I mean, I think customer service is probably going to be up there. What else?
Yeah, I think one of the things we're really good at is setting up goal setting with our customers. So making sure that our customers are getting their desired outcome of the platform. And this is really tough. I think a lot of software companies struggle with this in determining, all right, what are the goals when a customer buys a product? All right, they bought it. Great, now what? And what are they trying to achieve with that product? And my thinking comes from a lot of like dominant thought leaders in the customer success space, like Greg Danes or Lincoln Murphy, talking about specifically how can we strategize with the customer to say, all right, what's the objective? What thing are you trying overall, big picture? What are you trying to achieve with LEADx? And then what are these key drivers that influence that objective? So I'll break this down to make it less abstract. So an objective might be something like, you know what, I just want to improve employee engagement. My employee engagement scores are horrible. My retention's bad. I need to improve that. So some of the drivers to employee engagement, for example, might be be my retention numbers. What are my retention numbers quarter over quarter? That might be one example of a driver leading into engagement. And then once we have that driver, we want to figure out, what's the metric? What's my baseline data? So maybe my retention, I don't know, might be 80% quarter over quarter. And but that's saying I'm losing 20% of my employee base every single quarter, which we all know that's not a great number. So I might be like, all right, I want to get that from losing 20% to, realistically, I might want to cut that in half. I might want to jump that from 20% to 10%. And then that's our goal. That's our metric right there that we're shooting for. And then we figure out, all right, what are the solutions? What things can I do as your customer success manager can I do to help you with the LEADx product to help you get that number down? And that's like the product features that I was talking about earlier. But one thing that really elevates this conversation is being able to pull this outside of the product and make LEADx really consult with the customer to say, there's more that we can do here. Let's advise you on some customer marketing, some marketing strategies with your learners, with your leaders to help figure out what we need to do. Maybe we need to change the culture. Maybe your culture isn't ripe for all this change, and we can help with that as well. So a lot of this is a consultative approach as well to figuring out where can we provide value to you that's beyond the product as well.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's an amazing segue into my next question. To switch gears a little bit, you mentioned leadership quite a bit. So let's talk about, let's say, you as a leader. How do you find, what do you do on a daily basis? What does your day look like?
Yeah, sure. So I really like to take like a servant leadership approach to my own leadership style so I see which ways, how can I help and provide and create the least amount of roadblocks to my direct reports. So that often involves, all right, how can I help with a problem that's happening? And I try my best, really. This is one of the things I know I need to work on as well from my own leadership, to take like a coach approach to helping to solve problems as well, instead of being the person that's coming in with the fire hose, extinguishing the problems, instead coming in and saying, all right, let's brainstorm this together. Let me take a question-centered approach to asking you and helping you arrive at the solution to the problem. So that's kind of what at a leadership level, what I try to do. I'm also involved, I think I do a lot of work. I do have my own set of customers as well. So I'm kind of working with my own customers. We're also managing a team under me as well. And then we're also kind of exploring a lot right now in the design space. So kind of our de facto product manager for right now as well.
Fantastic. Well, definitely having that coach approach is, amazing to hear, because that's working with people, not against people, is definitely having that open mind. So we're coming to one of my favorite parts, which is the rapid fire. So now that we're coming close to the end, are you up for some short, crisp, and quick fire questions and answers?
Yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's do it.
So, for example, like very simply, Gary, what was the last book you read?
Oh, the last book I read. What book did I just finished it? Hansen, I forget what it's called. So it's Hansen's Marathon Method. So I'm training for a marathon right now. I live in Philadelphia in the United States. Yeah. So I'm learning before I start training for a marathon.
Very good, very good. Well, I've done the marathon. It's mostly here. a lot of work. So best of luck with that. Best of luck. Another thing is, what is one single thing that you are focused on at the moment within LEADx? What's that one thing that you're like super into at the moment?
Right now, I'm really focused on figuring out the goals with customers. So that results focusing on that strategy conversation I was talking about. So getting all of our customers to participate in these conversations, either maybe it won't be to the degree, every customer won't participate to the degree that I find ideal. But as long as we have some kind of goal written down somewhere for a customer. So that's really my focus right now.
Okay, that's good. And in no matter what you're doing in all jobs, we all have these repetitive tasks that have to be done. But if you could like snap your fingers and you could have one of those tasks that like on automation, I mean, what would that be?
Oh, automation. I would say the auto summary of recording for call notes. That would be the best. I know I spend a lot of time writing call notes, recording them, putting them into our CRM, and then that takes a lot of time. I know my team spends a lot of time doing that, and I know they don't like doing it, just like I don't like doing it, but it's one of those necessary things just to keep our records straight.
Yeah, so having some automation, yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. So, I mean, if you could go back in time and give yourself, a bit of advice. Let's say it's your first day, your first week at LEADx again. I mean, is there anything you do differently, or if you could talk to that person yourself again, what would you do?
I would tell myself really to shift the focus for like executive business reviews, quarterly business reviews, EBRs, QBRs, to a goals driven conversation instead of a product roadmap conversation. No, I'm not trying to discount product roadmap conversations. They're great. There's a time and a place for those, but instead focusing those business reviews around goal setting, around developing a strategy. That's what I would do first instead.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess the last word, before we wrap things up, Gary, I mean, first off, thanks so much for taking the time to be on our call today. So if there's something that, let's say, everybody forgets everything else that we just spoke about, and there's one thing that you want to leave them with, one thing that you want to leave them with regarding LEADx, what would that be?
I would say, like, if one of your pain points is trying to change manager leader behavior, then we take a look at our site. We have proven case studies that we've done this with our product, with our service offerings that can actually change and really improve managers' behaviors to whatever behavior you really want to change. And that's going to increase engagement. It's going to increase retention. It's going to give you a better whole picture of your company, create a better culture. So check us out if that's a pain point for you.
No problem. Will do. So thank you so much to LEADx, and thank you so much, Gary, for taking the time. And that is it for today's podcast with Pat Monk. All the best, and see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Great. Thanks, Eamon.
Thank you.